Hi, this is Sahar Shunier, human interest photojournalist and founding spokesperson of Stop Non-Consensual Experiments in All World Citizens. I'm sorry I am having trouble breathing right now, but unfortunately, for better or worse, I know what's causing this, or I should say who, and it's unfortunately through a network, not just one person, but the main coordinator is the neuropsychiatrist specializing in behavior modification, believed but not known to be my mother. I really just thought she was mentally ill and abusive previously, and have come to realize that she was following malicious psychological operations scripts. They're within military intelligence, and they're meant to get what they call mind control over humans. So it involves inflicting traumas to drive the person out of ourselves. That's the brainwashing. And so that we have an erased slate, a tabula rasa, is the term, the Latin term, that they can then program. And these people seem absolutely bound and determined to make me so sick that they can disappear me under color of authority. They can get me out of being able to walk anywhere freely in society. And because they've tried to criminally, frame me through criminal justice system. They tried to frame me with a false mental health diagnosis. They set up for that. Fortunately, I've been pretty vigilant about checking, and I've had lawyers help to check as well. I don't believe there is any such official diagnosis. As far as a criminal record, that's easier to check myself, and there's not. But these people have been allowed to keep trying and trying. And in fact, I've heard some of the kinds of comments they make. They know, at least many of them know, that they're doing just that. And so they basically weigh whether or not they think they can get away with it this time to hold me, if they've driven me to the point I need to go to the emergency room, for example. So this has become really life endangering because they refuse to stop. I really just wanted to be able to, I saved and worked very hard. I wanted to be able to just, not so that I could never work again or something, but so that then I could continue to work, but under normal circumstances, not being stuck working for this person believed but not known to be my mother, stuck in the household of the person believed but not known to be my mother, stuck with her going around saying, oh, I'm her mother and her doctor, and I get to dictate everything in her regard. In fact, I suspect that if legitimately they had semi-legitimately they had my Legal Shield membership rescinded, and I've posted the footage. Their Legal Shield people are people who say that they are that, have told me that it was due to third-party correspondence that I'm not privy to, that it might well be the person believed but not known to be my mother sending some kind of letter covertly making claims that she does not have a legal right to be making, and certainly not any other kind of right either. They have escalated to poisoning my breathing environment, not just once or twice a day, but at least 4 times a day, 2 times pretty close together in the mornings and 2 times pretty close together in the evenings. I know her style is to seek the perfect drug cocktails for stepwise declines. I've heard her use these types of terms many times, to cause word salad, mental fog, etc. Very convenient for highly shielded human enslavers and human traffickers seeking to gain maximum puppeting power over as many people as possible worldwide. They have caused criminal insanity in this person. I know they subjected her to extreme traumas, and they constantly fuel her with things to reinforce programming that they obviously intended to be able to utilize her against me, which is very much how they operate. They're hoping to get the control of me as a first choice so that then they could use me to help compromise other people. I will not cooperate with these people, and I really do need legitimate government intervention. I'm at escalated risk now because they push things to where I need to try again to file a police report, and they have had their pocketed police more than seeking, to intercept me and seeking to take me to one of their, quote, vetted doctors. So I will touch base again at the end of any day this week that I try again to go to get a police report filed and hopefully some legitimate investigation started. Because regardless of national security clearance, etc., no party should be allowed to be running around sexually assaulting, chemically assaulting, etc. I believe that among what's in their chemical cocktails fall in the category of date rape drugs, most likely. They are designed to not be detected unless they are specifically looked for. Even some within the category are not on the standard date rape drugs panel. This network already had a highly shielded assigned serial rapist assigned to me and other scholars similarly targeted at University of Maryland, Baltimore County. A psychology major, moreover, whose father's specialty overtly through the U.S. Navy and more covertly through DARPA is pulsed signals buried in noise. Basically, the network of secret society doctors that my second pseudo-stepfather admitted knowledge of has in common that in their different fields, they are pursuing ways of covert coercive control over the human mind. Because once you have control of the human mind, then you have control over the human. This would be on every level. The mind is that, central system, the central nervous system. It would affect the person effectively spiritually. It would affect them emotionally, psychologically, intellectually, and physically. This picture is not how I like to be seen, but I felt divine guidance that it is the picture that needs to be seen for this update. It is from August of 2020, specifically August 4th. If you hear my difficulty breathing, it is, I'm sure, to do with that I'm having neurotoxic inhalants being used on me. I'm sure they're documenting, unlawfully surveilling, so they can document for their lucrative development and research contracts, or I should say research and development. They usually put it in that order, R&D. Neurological weapons to help with covert control of the human mind and otherwise the human. It's not just psychologically either. We're talking neurologically, affecting physiological systems, etc. And the two doctors of most acute threat to me now appear to be the one believed to be, but not known to be, my mother, that I've been becoming increasingly suspicious is not my biological mother. Unfortunately, clearly she's not spiritually or psychologically my mother, but I think also biologically she might not be. And so government contracted with intelligence clearance behavior modification neuropsychiatrist with a master's in chemistry from University of Toronto, which I'm very sad to say apparently is a main place through which a lot of these contracts are being done. So that was a matter with University of Colorado through Dr. John Anthony Sobarbaro, who has documented connections to organized crime and to military and to having appeared to the U.S. Senate Appropriations Committee, specifically a subcommittee on foreign assistance. And it needs to be investigated if that's the connection of how he apparently transferred non-consensual experimentation on me over to his Canadian counterpart, Dr. Meyer Stanley Balter, lung specialist in Toronto, that graduated from McGill University, which is also well documented to have been connected with carrying out MKUltra experimentation through another doctor, in fact, in the same secret society, medical secret society that my second pseudo-stepfather admitted knowledge of in a video on my YouTube channel. The channel is, so it's youtube.com/CHIN as in Nancy, YEREDOTCOM. The playlist with these particular videos is called is to the attention of the U.S. Senate, labeled to the attention of the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee. And that video is called Dr. McIntyre Admits Knowledge of Secret Medical Society. From things that he has said, done, and insinuated, it needs to be checked if his father was one of the Nazi war criminal scientists brought to the United States, given new identities and so forth, settled in certain places where we have the worst types of legacies, frankly, including Texas, where they settled, and Alabama, where I'm sure is also not coincidence that they caused me to have to be stuck for a while, and they're trying to get me back to. This by no means is to suggest that everybody in all of Alabama or all of Texas is in on it or what have you. I know better, so I'm not making blanket stereotypes of, full groups of people or so based on superficial reasons. Anybody who's spent any time with me, knows me and what have you, knows that. So I guess a reason I raise it, it's interestingly, these people seem to have a strange genocidal, supremacist and misogynistic attitude toward me. And one of the front landlords that was at one of the apartments I was shepherded to with the help of their computer hackers has continued to stalk me through communications after I specifically asked him to stop. And he had also tried to frame me, but it didn't work. But I mean, just a lot of craziness. And in one of the communications, I actually, because I wasn't wanting to even be looking there, but I stumbled upon it. Sometimes I have more energy to look, and other times I just stumble upon, there's another one. And he was saying something about, people who have done bad things to such and so people. I'm not even going to mention which group of people he said, because I really don't think that, I don't want anybody to think, oh yeah, those are, bad people or something like that. Of course, they're up to this kind of thing or this and that. No, I think actually, moreover, he's pretending to be part of that. It's a religious group of people that have been very persecuted, in fact, by these Nazi people, because I don't understand what all the dynamics are, but that is, in fact, something that's been happening with the person believed but not known to be my mother. She goes around saying falsely saying that her last name is pronounced Lachman. It's a Jewish name, this and that. And it's Lachman Singh. She abbreviated it. It's an Indian name from Guyana. Her grandfather on her father's side is Dr. Joseph P. Lachman Singh, who I'm sure, not coincidentally, was the key Guyanese official during arrangements for Jonestown. And so many people that apparently were involved in that and the purposes for that, including higher proportions of certain groups known for this type of activity, frankly, including from Russia, have been involved in the organized stalking and all of me. It's well documented by now. I don't have anything against people just because they're from Russia or anything like that either. I certainly don't think that they're all non-consensual testing operatives or anything like that. But yeah, there's certain places that have been appearing, people, operatives disproportionately from obviously involved in my case, including some with triads connections, which are connections again through the person believed but not known to be my mother. So she has the Chinese name attached to her psychiatric services company, or I should say front company, because she admitted to me at one point that she's really not the person in charge. Either admitted or attempted to mislead me with that, but I think in that case it was an admission. One of the files in my playlist is called Dr. Lachman Admits Feeling Coerced by Third Party to Press False Allegations Against Me. And I've come to realize that, quote, admission was probably more of a claim. And she was probably really being a complicit, pretending to be a co-victim. So, yeah, these are grade A deceivers. And this is the point to which they have escalated. And it's hard to... I never would have imagined in advance that there would be so many people willing to keep pushing at somebody who is now turning 50 years old this year and has never cooperated with them willingly. I mean, obviously they were allowed to do some things to me regardless. When I was 6 years old, I'll just mention this one example and close out. They did a eye surgery on me that they say is a corneal transplant. I've come to find out increasingly information that points to that they were lying. So in fact, I don't know that I don't have my original cornea. It might or might not be still my original cornea in there, but they claim I had a corneal transplant. Some people who know more about eyes and what have you are suspicious it was an implant. But they had blinded me for the weekend, the entire weekend leading up to that surgery. And the person believed to be my mother lied to me and claimed that, the lights are out because the electricity went out. And I remember even then when I was 6 years old thinking, oh my God, she's lying to me, because at least the one eye that's not affected by what they claim has been affected to cause a need for surgery, that was the left eye, at least the right eye should adjust. Because supposedly there was only surgery on the one eye and only a need for surgery on the one eye. They claim that I'd gotten chickenpox directly on the cornea, obscuring my vision, and I needed to therefore have the cornea changed. And if that actually did happen, I would be the only person, I think, still in medical history. And at that time, my mother was bragging that the only person in medical history to have had that happen. So she appears to have, I think it's called factitious disorder imposed on another, also known as Munchausen syndrome by proxy. But I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just, somebody who's been targeted by these activities. Okay, thank you and God bless you. I'm sorry things are to this stage, but I'm going to be trying this week to get a police report to hopefully get some legitimate investigation and intervention, and therefore we'll need to update again to let people know when I'm safely at the end of my day. I wanted to do this before midnight, but I was knocked out cold by the chemicals, and so to my distress, when I awoke, it was about 2 o'clock hour in the morning. I think it was technically late in the 1 o'clock hour, and then I realized, for safety of my friends that I'm updating with what I need to update right now, I'd better go ahead and just do a public update. Okay, thank you so much, and God bless you.